I will be booting into my Ventoy USB stick, and I have to keep pushing F12 on my UEFI PC. And here is my Ventoy USB stick, Samsung flash drive, and enter. I have loaded several different Linux ISOs, but the one we want is Fedora Workstation Live 1242, and enter again, and then I don't need to test it. We'll just start the Fedora Workstation Live, enter, get a choice of install Fedora here, so we'll click it again. US is fine, English, would you like to install? I want to mount a point assignment. It already has Fedora installed as a test, so I do want mount point assignment, and then we want to install the root partition on SDA2, and then we want boot and EFI into SDA1. And then we don't need this boot. So this is all correct. And we do want to reformat these two. And then next. And this is all correct, I understand. Apply, mount, point, assignment, and install. And you want to follow this, whether you already have another Linux installed, or this is a brand new install to internal hard drive. This is what I would recommend. Probably around less than 10 minutes to install Fedora here. Okay, exit to live desktop. So we're still on a Ventoy stick, and we'll go ahead and reboot, restart. What we'll do is we'll again go ahead and fire up the Ventoy USB stick. And then this time we'll go to gparted.iso. And then normal mode is fine. And then gparted live default setting on the top is fine. Now what we'll have to do, we'll have to partition the internal hard drive so it will accept Puppy Linux save folder. So I go through how to do this. And also we'll have to use the gparted to get the USB stick ready for Puppy Linux install. That way there is no chance that the Fedora updates will mess up Puppy Linux. So here we want to don't touch key map is okay. And then 33, which is US English, is fine. 0, continue, start X automatically is what we want. So now we have the internal hard drive with Fedora install. What we need to do is we need to create a safe partition here in the internal hard drive for Puppy Linux, because although the Puppy Linux files itself installs to RAM, the save folders do not. So it makes it much more efficient to create a save folder within a much faster internal hard drive. So that's what we'll do. What we'll have to do now is right click on second partition and then resize, and then we'll go ahead and drag this Fedora is, so you roughly will give it approximately 30 gig to a Fedora. So resize, and then apply all the operation, and then this will again take some time. Oh, it did it right away, so that's fine. Well, we'll give it pretty much every whole disk, except for approximately 7 gig, 8 gig toward the end for swap files. So here we'll label it capital SAV. This is very important because we will be letting Puppy Linux files know where these save folder should be looked for. So we want to get SAV add, and then here again we'll go ahead and new, and then we want to give a Linux swap. And you don't really need a Linux Pup Linux swap if you have generally over 4 gig of RAM, but I'll do this for completeness sake. And then we'll go ahead and apply. Now that's done. Now next thing, what we need to do is we're going to use the gparted to go ahead and get the USB Puppy Linux USB stick ready. Insert the USB stick. Edit gparted refreshed devices. And then here is a USB stick. Actually, this is a SD card that's inserted using USB adapter. So it's only 4 gig of space, but what we need to do is we're gonna just wipe it out all together, create partition table, and we wanna make this GPT UEFI machine that I have here. So we'll go ahead and apply, and then we're gonna create a first partition, which is gonna be FAT32 and EFI, and then we'll give it a space of 300 megabyte is more than enough. And then next, new, we're gonna label this pups. This is where all the Puppy Linux files will go, including the grub file here. So we'll go ahead and apply. And then now we'll go to the first partition, manage flags, and we're gonna click on ESP, and that's gonna also put a little tick on a boot, and then close. Now this part is all done, so we're gonna right click, exit, go to shutdown menu, and then we want to reboot. So F12 on my machine will get into flash drive, which is my Ventoy machine, and then enter, and then we're going to go to the BookwormPup64. Normal mode is fine, and then we just need to get to the RAM only works well. So ALTF4 will close this. ALTF4 again, close the application, and then now we can take a look at these partitions. So this is a Samsung flash drive, so let me just unplug that. This is the Ventoy machine, so it'll make it less confusing if I just remove this USB, and here it is. And then we have USB card here, which will be installing Puppy Linux. And here's the external drive that I put in. I connected so we can use the ISO BookwormPup ISO. So just gonna have to F12 will bring up to frugal-pup installers is what we want, and we want to go to frugal-pup. Again, go to the settings, and we want to make sure that separate save location is ticked. Autosave is already ticked, which is good. Enter, and then puppy, and then we want to load up ISO, which is going to be BookwormPup64. Enter, and then it's actually on my external hard drive under Linux. ISO's here. Minus sign will make it easier for me. And the BookwormPup64 is what I'll be installing. So here it is, okay. And then we're gonna be installing it in this USB stick here. So it's gonna be pups. And then here, so SDI2, and here what we're gonna do is create a folder. So we're gonna just name BW64, just in case you wanna install another Puppy Linux on the same stick later. So we'll just create a folder. So here it is. I just enter return key and OK. Now it wants to know where we're gonna, you should look for save folder, Puppy Linux save folder. Now we wanna make sure that we go to SAV, the internal hard drive. So we're gonna say okay. And then we also wanna create a separate save folder. This time a smaller letter, SAVE, create. So this is where the Puppy Linux save folder from a USB stick is going to eventually reside here. Okay, okay. Okay, now it's done. Now the next thing what we want to do is we want to make sure that we have a boot grub here from a USB stick. So we want to, since we're finished with the Puppy Linux files, we're going to go to boot, and then Puppy Linux files on SDI pups. Enter, and then this is indeed correct. There's only one bookworm. And then we want to make sure that SDI1 is the SD card, so USB SD card, so EFI, that's all correct. Enter, and then UEFI grub 2 is fine, okay, and then okay. And it's already written, okay. And then we're going to close ALTF4, ALTF4, ALTF4. Now let's take a look at the SDI1. In my case, here is the grub CFG. And we'll go ahead and right click. And then here is the grub CFG from USB, and I almost never use shutdown computer or reboot computer menu. I don't need that, so we'll just go ahead and delete. And then just for simplicity's sake, we'll just go ahead and change this to BW64, and then save. So now when we want to reboot, we do not need to save anything, but we want to make sure we get into the boot menu where you do get a choice of Fedora or Puppy Linux. So what we want to do is go ahead and right click, leave, reboot, no save, and then on my machine I'll just have to keep clicking on F12 to get into the boot menu. So now we have a generic SD. This is where my Puppy Linux files are. So we'll go ahead and get into that. And there's a BookwormPup64. So now we're at Puppy Linux. What we want to do is make sure that Puppy Linux a save folder, which should be inserted into here, which the SD83 on the hard drive works properly. So we'll just go ahead and quickly go through the initial quick setup. Here we'll go to America, Los Angeles, time from internet. We don't need anything else. I just basically want to make sure that the save folder gets properly saved. So okay. And then we want to go ahead and go to first save folder. We're gonna leave, reboot, and we do want to get the save here. And then it should be creating a save folder from the now again we want to just make sure F12. On my case, your key is going to be different. We want to again get into the Puppy Linux and then enter again. I noticed the first time I did this, I had to go through the quick save twice to properly put the puppy save folder in the internal hard drive. So we'll have to just wait and see. So it didn't save properly with the first time again. So we're gonna just do it again. And let's just take a look. So you should have placed it here, and there is a save folder, but it didn't load properly. So we're gonna just simply just do it again. So we go to America, Los Angeles, and again here, this is fine. And then okay. I'm unsure exactly why we have to do it twice, but I noticed that before also when I try to repeat some of these steps before making the video. So now we're going to leave again, reboot. We're going to go to the save. Now it's proper now, because now it wants to know exactly which partition that we want it. So we want it on, not on SDI, which is SD card, but we want it on SDA3, which is correct. Okay, and then normal is fine. Folder is definitely what we want, and then type in any number, any kind of number if you want. We'll just go ahead and just type in test, and then enter, and then it wants to know which folder. So what we don't want the BW64 folder. We want to have it on save folder, because here we've created save folder And you want to doubly make sure this new folder gets inserted here. This must be a little small bug. So yes, now this is correct. Yes. Again, we're going to go to the card. BW64. Now we should not get a quick setup screen again if everything is done properly. So now we get a choice of which save folder we want to use, because the latest one is test. I put in the save folder of test extension, so we want number 2. So now we do not get a quick save setup screen again. So this is correct, and this save folder partition is automatically mounted, which is what we expect. And then since the first one back out, and we're just going to simply delete the first one and enter. We just go ahead and delete it. So now